Well, that's very true. And once again, there's always something that is bringing the Browns right into the center of the NFL universe. Right now, it's Shedeur Sanders, right? I mean, there is just so much content, so much debate, so much vitriol over Shedeur Sanders. So the Browns are coming off of a 3-14 season, but every time you turn on television, every time you turn on anything, NBC, ESPN, CBS, you name it, the Cleveland Browns are right there front and center, and everyone's talking about Shedeur.
Think about that for a second. A team that just went 3-14, a franchise everyone wrote off as irrelevant, is suddenly front and center. Not because they're winning, not because of Joe Flacco's comeback story, but because of one rookie quarterback, Shedeur Sanders. Even national TV is saying it. The Browns only matter because of him. And Kay Cabot, the insider who's been covering this team for decades, just went nuclear. She said it flat out. Without Shedeur, this team would be irrelevant. That's not hype, that's not fan fiction, that's the truth. So let me ask you this. If Shedeur's the reason the Browns are even on the map, why is he being buried on the depth chart? Why are the coaches dragging their feet? Is this about protecting him, or is it about protecting themselves? Hey, before we dive deeper, make sure you hit like and subscribe. We're breaking stories the mainstream media won't touch. And if you believe Shedeur deserves his shot, comment SS 100% down below. Let's see how many of you are riding with Prime's son tonight.
We got to see what Dillon Gabriel can do and/or Shedeur Sanders.
Yes, I do think that at some point this season, you will see Dillon and you will see Shedeur. They need to know what they have going into the draft next year when they have those 2 first-round picks. So Joe will take it to a certain point.
That's not me saying it. That's Kay Cabot, the reporter with the most inside access in Berea. She said it plain and simple. At some point, the rookies are getting their shot. Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel will both step on that field. The Browns can delay it, but they can't stop it. The question is, who goes first? And why? Kay's take is explosive. She said Shedeur is too talented to waste, a risk worth taking. And every week the Browns keep him hidden, the pressure grows. Because let's be honest, if they believed in Dillon Gabriel, if they believed in Joe Flacco, they wouldn't need to keep running from the obvious. Shedeur is the story. Shedeur is the spotlight. And Shedeur is the future.
And if they're not winning, if they're not in the hunt anymore, then I think you'll see them turn it over to Dillon first, of course. And I don't know how long that's going to be. I think Joe has to go out there and hang on to this job. I think he has to show that he can, stay there in the pocket and not.
And that's the ugly truth about Joe Flacco. Yes, he's a veteran. Yes, he's won before. But this isn't about experience anymore. This is about survival. He's holding on to that job by a thread. One bad interception, one costly fumble, and the crowd will turn. The media will turn. The locker room will turn. Kay reminded us, in his last 4 starts in Indy, Flacco turned the ball over up to 9 times. 9! That's not stability, that's disaster waiting to happen. The Browns know it, the fans know it, and Flacco knows it too, which is why every throw he makes feels like a test. Every snap is a trial, because behind him are not 1, but 2 rookies waiting for their moment. Dillon Gabriel, the computer brain quarterback, and Shedeur Sanders, the superstar with the arm talent and the aura to flip a franchise overnight.
Maybe he's got something that could cause him to be the starter for years to come.
Yes, absolutely. Each one of the quarterbacks in the 4-way competition sort of had their own little superpower in the competition. And for Dillon Gabriel, his superpower is the processing speed, his computer-like brain, the way that he makes decisions. And when we first asked Tommy Rees, the Browns offensive coordinator, what is the most important trait in his mind for a quarterback, he said decision-making. And I'll tell you what, you can see it in Dillon Gabriel.
That's how the Browns are selling this circus. They say every quarterback has a superpower. For Dillon Gabriel, it's processing speed. For Joe Flacco, it's experience. For Deshaun Watson, it's, complicated. And for Shedeur Sanders, Sanders, it's everything. Mary Kay and other insiders point out Shedeur's arm strength and processing are already NFL level. Add to that his leadership, maturity, and fan power, and you've got something Cleveland hasn't had in decades, a quarterback who can win games and win hearts. And so why is he still being treated like the fourth man in line? That's the real debate. Are the Browns afraid of making him the face of the team too soon? Or are they protecting their vets, knowing once Shedeur gets on the field, it's over for everyone else? I am close the professor people beginning on private shares. They can do this game's everyone's man. Cleveland fans aren't sitting quietly. They're flooding training camp with Shedeur jerseys, chanting his name from the bleachers, and lighting up social media with demands like play him or trade him and stop sabotaging Shedeur. And Mary Kay Cabot has made it clear that while Shedeur himself stays humble inside the building, it's this relentless, vocal, and unstoppable fan movement outside of it that's turning every depth chart decision into a firestorm. Because in today's NFL, you can ignore a rookie for a week, maybe for a month, but you can't ignore millions of voices demanding change without eventually breaking under the noise. History shows us that the greatest quarterbacks weren't always handed the job. Tom Brady was buried behind Drew Bledsoe until one hit changed NFL history. Dak Prescott was supposed to ride the bench until Romo went down, and Russell Wilson was signed as an afterthought while the Seahawks had already paid Matt Flynn. Yet all three seized their moment and never gave the job back, which begs the question, are the Browns ignoring the next Brady, Dak, or Russ and Shedeur Sanders by burying him on the depth chart? Because Mary Kay Cabot is basically warning Cleveland that every week they stall is a week they might be holding back the league's next superstar. And if they don't learn from history, it won't just be a mistake. It'll look like sabotage. This is where things get messy because Shedeur isn't just a quarterback, he's a movement. Millions of followers, sold out jersey drops, national coverage, and the Browns can't hide from that. Every time they try to push him down, the spotlight gets brighter. Every time they say not yet, the noise outside gets louder. Mary Kay says it best. Inside the building, Shedeur is respected, liked, embraced by his teammates. Outside the building, he's a lightning rod. And that external pressure is what's going to break the Browns' wall of resistance. Because you can ignore a fan base for a week, you can ignore a fan base for a month, but you can't ignore a movement. Not in today's NFL. Not when every camera is already on Shedeur Sanders. Picture it. Week 9. The Browns hit their bye week. Flacco traded for picks. Dillon Gabriel gets the nod. Deshaun Watson comes back to mentor. And Shedeur Sanders? Still waiting. That's not fantasy. That's the actual prediction floating inside NFL circles right now. That's how volatile this quarterback room is. But here's the problem. How long do you think Shedeur's fans, his brand, his father Deion Sanders, and the national media will sit quietly while Gabriel starts and Shedeur waits? That pressure will not go away. In fact, it will only get louder, which means by the time November hits, the Browns won't just be fighting defenses, they'll be fighting their own building, their own fan base, their own narrative. So here we are, a veteran holding on for dear life. A rookie with hype but questions, a superstar rookie being buried to protect egos, and a $200 million ghost in Deshaun Watson floating on the sidelines. This isn't just a depth chart, this is a power struggle. Mary Kay Cabot flipped the script when she said Shedeur Sanders is the Browns' future. And now, the pressure is on. Do the Browns embrace that future? Or do they risk tearing their own franchise apart trying to delay the inevitable? What do you think? Are the Browns protecting Shedeur Sanders or sabotaging him? Drop your take below. This debate is just heating up. If you love Shedeur, comment SS 100% down below. If you're riding with Dillon Gabriel, type DG time. And if you think the Browns are just playing politics, hit that like button so we expose it together. Until next time, stay locked in.